Is it completed? No, not done. Init method called by browser whenever init method called by browser whenever an applet is opened and whenever an applet is opened. Init method called by browser whenever an applet is opened. Init method called by browser whenever an applet is opened. Start method called by browser whenever an applet is opened and activated. Init method called by browser whenever an applet is opened. Start method called by browser whenever an applet is opened and activated. Init method called by browser whenever an applet is opened. Start method called by browser whenever an applet is opened and activated. Paint method called by browser whenever an applet is opened and activated. Paint method called by browser whenever an applet is opened and activated. Stop method called by browser whenever an applet is deactivated and closed. Stop method called by browser whenever an applet is deactivated and closed. Stop method called by browser whenever an applet is deactivated and closed. Just write it as it is. Destroy method called by browser. Left side only, write it. Left side only. Applet side only. Destroy method called by browser whenever an applet is closed. Destroy method called by browser whenever an applet is closed. Is it over? Total how many methods applet side? 5. Init, start, paint, stop, destroy. Whatever I given, I'll ask some questions, give me answer. Init method called by browser. When it is called? Whenever applet is opened. Start method called by browser. Whenever applet is opened, activated. Paint method activate, open and activated. Stop method deactivated and closed. Destroy method whenever closed. Same questions, different angle. Okay. Whenever applet is opened, how many methods called? Whatever I given notes, in that only answer is there. Question different angle I am asking. How many methods? One also they are giving three methods. What are those? Init, start, paint. Whenever applet is activated, how many methods? Two methods. What are those? Start and paint. Whenever applet is deactivated, how many methods? One method, that is stop. And whenever applet is closed, how many methods? Two methods. What are those? Stop and destroy. Clear? Question different angle asked, that's it. Answer is there only. Answer is there only. Okay? See, n number of questions, answers if you learn in interview, one more angle also they'll ask. But answer will be there only. You should be ready for any question. Now, once again, whenever applet is opened, how many methods called? What are those? Init, start, paint. Whenever applet is activated, how many method? Two method. What are those? Start and paint. Whenever applet is deactivated, how many methods? One. That is stop. Whenever applet is closed, how many method? What are those? Stop and destroy. Shall I ask one more angle? Now, init method, how many times called? One time or many times? Only one time. Whenever applet is opened. Start method, many times like activation, deactivation, we can do many times. So open time also called, activation time also called. So many times like activation, deactivation, we can do many times. I'll explain. One or many, like that give answer. Start method, one or many? Many. Paint method, stop method, many times. Destroy method, one time. Okay. See, for example, it is a browser. In a computer, it's a browser. It's a browser. Okay, directly I'll open browser better. Now, see, suppose it's a browser. Now, applet opened. Suppose in this browser, applet opened. Then how many methods called? Three methods. Init, start, paint. If I minimize, deactivated, then one method, that is stop. If I maximize, activated, how many methods? Two methods. Start, paint. Minimize, one method, that is stop. Maximized, two methods. Start, paint. Again minimized, stop. Maximized, stop and paint. Close. Stop and destroy. Stop and destroy. Whenever here I given deactivated and closed. Here only closed. So when you close, stop called, destroy called. Say here browser. Browser. First I'll open browser. Applet program runs here. Applet open. Init, start, paint. Minimize. Nothing but deactivation. Stop. Maximize. Activation. Start, paint. Minimize. Deactivation. Stop. Maximize. Activation. Stop. Start and paint. If I close, stop and destroy. Like this will call. Suppose without minimizing, now I'll switch to other application. I'll switch to other application. It is also deactivated. Now again I'll switch to browser. It is called activated. So if you switch the applications like this, then also activation, deactivation. Now activated, browser activated. Now deactivated. Now activated, deactivated, activated, deactivated, like this. Activation, deactivation, many times you can do. Okay. Like that, init, start, paint, stop, destroy. That's what arrows are given like this. I given like this arrows. It is programming related. See. I given like this. Why I given like this? See, applet is opened. What are the methods called? Init, start, paint. Applet is deactivated. Stop. Deactivated. Start and paint. Activate. Deactivated. Stop. Activated. Start and paint. Activate. Deactivated. Stop. Activated. Start and paint. Closed. Stop and destroy. That applet is closed means stop and destroy. That's the reason arrows like that are given. So this is one time. This is many times, many times, many times, one time. Okay. This is not important. Now right side important. Okay. Right side important. This is also after teaching a last question you have to give answer. Okay. 1 minute wait. See right side. Right side. Now that is applet. Applet is not important. Applet is not important. Solid is important. Applet outdated, but I'm comparing with solid. Now here. Here three methods are there. No? Write this one. Init method called by web container whenever init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a solid. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a solid. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a solid. Service method called by web container for every request. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a solid. Service method called by web container for every request. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a solid. Service method called by web container for every request. Destroy method init method destroy method called by web container whenever solid instance is removed from web container. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a solid. Service method called by web container for every request. Destroy method called by web container whenever solid instance is removed from web container. Solid instance is removed from web container whenever web application is undeployed. Whenever web application is whenever server shuts down. Destroy method called by web container whenever Servlet instance is removed from web container. Servlet instance is removed from web container whenever web application is undeployed from server and whenever server shuts down. See, it is server, it is application. If you place in a server, it is called deploying. This application, if you remove from server, it is called undeploying. Deploy, undeploy. That is word deploy, undeploy, technical word. Now, here also questions different angle I'll ask. Okay. How many life cycle methods here? First writing is over. Completed? Not completed. That side discussions are more. That's what it will take time. See. How many life cycle methods in Servlet? 3. What are those? Init, service, destroy. Init, service, destroy. When init method called by web container? Whenever first request comes to a servlet. When service method called by web container? For every request. When destroy method called by web container? Whenever servlet instance is removed from web container. When servlet instance is removed from web container? Whenever web application is undeployed or whenever server shuts down. Now, as it is asked, question different angle. Okay. Now, as it is asked, now question different angle. Whenever first request comes, how many methods called? Answer there only. One method or two methods? How many methods? Two methods called. Every request means first request also request only, no? See, here, every request means first request also request only. So, when first request comes, how many methods? Two methods called. Second request, one method. Third request, one method, like that. Okay? See, init method called by web container, how many times? One time or many times? One time. Service method, many times. Destroy method, one time. Okay? Now, init, destroy, init, service, destroy. Now, you written diagram like this. Like this I given. Now, first request comes. How many methods called? How many methods? Two methods. What are those? Init called, service called. Second request, one method, that is service. Third request, fourth request, fifth request, sixth request, last request, service only. Last request also service only. When destroy called? whenever application undeployed or whenever shut down the server, shuts down. So last request also service only called, because destroy separate I given. Destroy method called by web container whenever Soulet instance is removed. When it is going to be removed? Whenever application undeployed or whenever you shut down the server. See, Windows operating system, you are going to shut down. Like that Tomcat server, we can shut down. When you shut down, all instances removed. Then it is called. And if you undeploy explicitly also, it is destroy called. Now in real time will they shut down server? 24 hours, 365 days Google is on, no? So in real time they won't shut down server. 24 hours, 365 days they will maintain. If any problem comes, they'll undeploy. Again they'll update, they'll deploy. At the time destroy called. But in real time, 99.9% cases they won't shut down. 24 hours, 365 days, all websites are in on only. Okay? Like this, init, service, destroy. These methods. This is programming related. It is required. How many differences completed? 5. Next. 6.1. 6.1 left side. All life cycle methods of an applet. All life cycle methods of an applet are the part of all life cycle methods of an applet are the part of java.applet.applet class. All life cycle methods of an applet are the part of java.applet.applet class. All life cycle methods of a Soulet are the part of Jakarta.Soulet.Soulet interface. All life cycle methods of an applet are the part of java.applet.applet class. All life cycle methods of a Soulet are the part of Jakarta.Soulet.Soulet interface. Previously Java X was there, now Jakarta. That is also one Indonesian island name. Java also Indonesian island name. Island name, that is Jakarta. Recently they changed. Previously Java X was there. Recently they changed it to Jakarta. Okay. Now here these all methods are available in this class. Here these all methods are available in this interface. Okay. Next. Every applet must extends java.applet.applet class to derive lifecycle. Every applet must extends java.applet.applet class to derive lifecycle. Every applet must extends java.applet.applet class to derive lifecycle. Every Soulet must implements Jakarta.Soulet.Soulet interface to derive lifecycle. Every Soulet must implements Jakarta.Soulet.Soulet interface to derive lifecycle. Every every Sowlet must implements Jakarta.Sowlet.Sowlet interface to derive life cycle. Every applet must extends java.applet.applet class to derive life cycle. Every Sowlet must implement Jakarta.Sowlet.Sowlet interface to derive life cycle. So life cycle method should be inherited. That is the reason inheritance compulsory. See, here we are not going to write main method. We are not going to write main method. If you write main method also, it is not executed because programs are executed in browser and server. Browser doesn't know main method, server doesn't know main method. Up to last class, what are the programs you have seen JDBC? Up to that, programs are executed in operating system. Operating system knows main method, but server doesn't know main method, browser doesn't know main method. See, in all programming languages, every day you are writing main because operating system knows only main method. C also, C plus also, Java also, Python also, everywhere main. Why main? Operating system knows only main. Every programming language, we are writing main. Reason, operating system knows only main method. Okay, in some languages, main method doesn't appear, but it will be there. Without main, not possible under operating system. Say, every programming language, we are writing main, word main. Reason, operating system knows only main. It doesn't know other words. That is the reason main. Okay, but these programs we are not executing under operating system. These programs we are executing under browser and server. Browser doesn't know main, server doesn't know main. That is the reason other methods. Now browser knows init, start, paint, stop, destroy. Server knows init, service, destroy. That's what these methods. But where these all methods? In this interface, in this class. To derive, you have to extend. To derive, you must implement. Compulsory. You have seen already, main method is instance method or class method. Main method, instance method or class method? Class method. Main method you are writing static, no? Now, main method is a class method. See, main method you are writing like this. Static. It is a class method. Now, why they given class method? Why they didn't give instance method like this? If main method is non-static, how to call? For calling main method also object required. Then how will create object? How will pass to operating system? Okay. Here, main method if it is non-static, how many ways to access? Two ways. What are those? Then this object, it has to create. Then only calling methods possible. Okay. Now here, object where will create, how will supply to operating system? That is the reason they given static. At the command prompt, you are writing like this, Java demo. Then what will happen? Demo.main. Class name dot main. So like that called. Okay, like that called. Here, one more thing. Here, this class name is demo. File name is test. Is it valid or not valid? Class name is demo. File name is test.java. Valid or not valid? Multiple answers coming. How many people answer valid? Online students? Only 24. Out of 304. Out of 304, only 25. Online students, what will happen is, whether they are listening or not listening also we do not know. How many people answer is not valid? But offline also what is happening? Majority people no answer. I thought that only online less answers. Offline also less answers. Majority people not given answer. Online also same, offline also same. You observe. It is core Java question or advanced Java question? But core Java already studied, no? Welcome program time only studied. But majority people no answer. Online also, offline also same. I thought that online student not giving, but offline also not giving. Think yourself and select one answer. But blindly don't select. Blindly don't select. Majority no answer. I want answer. Think and select. Once again, how many people answer valid? Okay. Your hand is like this means you are not confident. Your hand is like this, you are confident. Your hand is like this, like this, like this means not confident. That shows confidence level. Even in interview also, if you are perfect in a subject, voice comes louder. And if you are not perfect in subject, interviewer cannot understand your voice. Beside person also cannot understand your voice. That automatically that is shows confidence level. Confidence level also sometimes important. Sometimes with confidence level only will get a job. What they'll think is, if I give a chance, he can learn, he can do it like that, they'll think. If you are confident. Sometimes with confidence level also you may get a job. Once again, how many people answer valid? Just raise your hand. Online students. Okay. How many people answer not valid? Online student. You see that. See, 40 plus 25. 65. Out of 304. Out of 304, 65 people responded. Not only this question. If I ask how many people are listening or not listening, also they won't give answer. Just you see. How many people are listening? Just raise your hand, online student. That is also 304 will not come. How many people are listening? You observe. I didn't ask Java question. Listening or not listening? See, 110 members listening. 200 people not listening. You observe. See, 112 answers. So, out of 304, 111 members listening. I didn't ask any Java question, no. I asked only listening or not listening. This is online student position. That is their responsibility. I am not responsible for that. Offline student, I am also responsible. But online student, their responsibility. See, here, class name demo, file name test. It is valid. You can write. You can write. Now I want to check whether you guessed or with knowledge given. I want to check. How many rules are there? You guessed matched. Now I am checking whether you guessed or with knowledge given. How many rules are there to write this program? So you guessed, answer matched. How many rules? 4 rules are there. 4 rules are there. So I think you don't know about that. You forgot. You forgot. I know. I understood. Now these already you written differences. Don't write these rules. Declaration. Because already you written differences. After differences, I'll give rules. Declaration rules to a source file. .java file. Those who know, give me answer. Those who remembered. For writing Java program, 4 rules are there. What is first rule? A source file can have only one public class. Only one public class. Second rule, a source file can have any number of non-public classes. Third rule, if there is a public class, file name, public class name must be same. This is after differences you can write because already you written differences. Okay, after differences I'll give time for writing. Listen, if the source file contains public class, then file name and public class name must be same. Fourth rule, if the source file does not contain public class, then no naming restrictions to a public class name. I'll give a time for writing. Don't write because already written notes applets solid. In the middle it becomes. So, if the source file does not contain public class, then no naming restrictions to a file name. Say, in a one program, one public class only possible. Why only one public class? Today you will understand. That in a core Java not possible to explain. That is the reason I asked these questions. Okay? This is core Java class I taught. But why only one public class? Today class you will understand. In core Java not possible to explain. That's what I didn't explain at the time. Today I'll explain. Say, in a one Java program, source file nothing but .java. Declaration rules to a source file. Source file nothing but .java file. For writing .java file, 4 rules are there. First rule, a source file can have only one public class. In a one program, one public class only possible. 2 public classes if you write error. Okay? A source file can have any number of non-public classes. Non-public classes, n number of you can write. If the source file contains public class, then file name and public class name must be same. If the source file does not contain public class, then no naming restrictions to a file name. 4 rules. So, in a program, one public class only possible. But why only one public class? Today you will understand. Now, here, how many public classes are there? Is it public class? No public classes. Okay, no public class. Now, non-public classes, n number of you can write. See, if you write public, it is called public class. Public class test. If I write, it's an error. If I write like this, Now, how many public classes are there? Two public classes. Two public classes in a one Java program, it is not possible. It's an error. It is not possible. Now, how many public classes? It is valid. Now, how many public classes? No public class. How many non-public classes? It is valid. Two public classes in a one program you cannot write. Non-public classes n number of you can write. Now, if the program contains public class, then file name, public class name must be same. Now, file name must be which name? Demo.java. Suppose now file name must be now file name any name you can write. Any name you can write. Now, class name test, class name demo. Suppose file name sample. Is it valid? Valid or not valid? Valid. So, in a one Java program, how many public classes we can write? One. How many non-public classes we can write? Any number of. In your program, public class is there. File name and public class name must be same. In your program, public class is not there. Then, no restriction to a file name. Now, according to 4 rules, is it valid or not valid? Valid. Okay. This program, how to compile? Java C, sample.java. These all, if you learn without Eclipse, you will get it. With Eclipse, if you learn, everything generated by system. That's what core Java up to exception handling, you should not learn with Eclipse. Without Eclipse, you have to learn up to exception handling. After exception handling, okay, not a problem. But up to exception handling topic, to get a knowledge, without Eclipse only better. Eclipse only better. After getting exception handling topic, start Eclipse, not a problem. Now, C drive Java C sample.java. You have to compile like this. How many dot class files generated? How many dot class files generated? 2 or 1 or 3? 2 also, 1 also, 3 also. How many dot class file generated? How many people answered 2? Online students? How many people answer 1? You selected 2 answers. 2 also selected, 1 also selected. Okay. How many will answer 3? Okay. See, it is core Java question. You learn, you forgot. Don't forget. Don't forget. Say, still many people not given answer. That meaning they forgot subject. They learned, they forgot that time. Don't forget core Java. If I compile this first file name sample.java. Okay, file name sample.java. Then how to compile the program? Java C sample.java. Then how many dot class file generated? 2 dot class file generated. Dot class file is generated for every class. Every class. Every interface also generated. Enumeration also generated. Records also generated. Inner class also generated. Inner interface also generated. 2 dot class file generated. What are the files? Test dot class. Demo dot class. Not sample. Sample is not generated. Test dot class file is generated for class. Dot class file is generated for class. Test dot class. demo.class. Okay. How to execute this program? How to execute? In Eclipse, what you'll do? Right click, run as Java application. What is happening also you don't know. That is the purpose. Eclipse as a beginner you should not learn. Eclipse with this all will not appear. Actually, when we have to use Eclipse after getting a job. But starting only Eclipse if you learn, right click, run as Java application. Over. What is happening also you don't know. Okay. Now, what we are write? Java demo. Why demo? Main method. Whichever class contains main method, that is we have to use to execute the program. Okay. So if you write Java C, if you write like this, if you compile sample.java, two dot class file generated, tester.class, demo.class, Java demo, then executed. So suppose Java test if you write, error, there is no main method. Java sample if you write, there is no dot class, error, like this. So here what is happening? The Java compiler generates dot class file for every class. The Java compiler generates dot class file for every class and every interface in a source file. Next, a class that contains main method. A class that contains main method only can be used to execute the program. So if we compile for every class generated, whichever class contains main method, that class you have to run. Suppose in every class you can write main method also, possible. But those all classes you can run, possible. Like that also possible. Okay. Now why this concept is here required, compulsory. Now main method is instance method or class method. Class method with class name main method called. Suppose at the command prompt how to run this program? Java demo. The demo nothing but this demo. While running, suppose this file name sample. This file name is sample.java. Okay. File name is sample.java. Then how to compile this program? Java C sample.java. Java C sample.java. Then how many dot class file generated? Two dot class file generated. Two dot class files. Test.class, demo.class. So for this one dot class generated, for this one dot class generated. Then how to run the program? Java demo. Java demo. Java demo. Okay. Now then what will be happen? This demo dot main, because it is static. Like that program is going to be executed. Okay. Like this it is executed. But life cycle methods here. These methods are instance methods. Instance methods. But instance method, how many ways to access? Two ways. What are those? Even if you want to use object reference, also object required. Object compulsory. But that object we are not going to create. Who is going to create? Browser, server. Browser and server is going to create. For creating that object, class should be accessible. When what we are write? Public. So here public class compulsory. Previously up to JDBC without public also executed, no? Here public is compulsory. How many public classes we can write? Now why only one? Suppose if you write 2, 3, then server doesn't know which object should create. That is the reason one public class. Whichever class public you write, that object created. That is the reason public class, one class only. Got it? Now, here, up to 7 you written, no? Eighth one. Applet class must be public because it should be accessible to browser to create an object to call lifecycle methods. Here, solid class must be public because it should be accessible to web container to create an object to call lifecycle methods. Applet class must be public because it should be accessible to browser to create an object to call lifecycle methods. Solid class must be public because it should be accessible to web container to create an object to call lifecycle methods. Applet class must be public because it should be accessible to browser to create an object to call lifecycle methods. Solid class must be public because it should be accessible to web container to create an object to call lifecycle methods. So, lifecycle methods, init, service, destroy. These are instance methods. Object required to call. Creating object class must be public. If you don't write public, program successfully compiled. Okay? Whenever you deploy, successfully deployed, whenever you send the request from browser, instantiation exception comes. Object cannot be created. Object is not created means lifecycle method not. Then error comes. Output will not come. But while writing program successfully compiled, no error. Compilation time, no error. Deployment time also no error. Whenever you send request, then server doesn't know how to create object because it is not accessible. Then it won't create object. Object is not created means lifecycle methods are not called. Then output will not get. That is the problem. That's what while writing program public you have to write. But if you use Eclipse, what will happen? Public automatically selected. By default public comes no. That is Eclipse what purpose? To make it fast, easy purpose. With Eclipse very easy to develop application. Okay. But first of all, easy you should not see. You should get a knowledge first. Because before getting a job this is. After getting a job, it is okay. First you should get a job. For getting job, this knowledge is required first. Okay. That's what solid program also. One program without Eclipse I'll teach. You will get a knowledge. After getting knowledge, I'll start Eclipse again. Okay. Up to JDBC actually Eclipse, without Eclipse, with Eclipse, not rapid application development is not little bit different appears. Solids lot of difference is there. Without Eclipse, with Eclipse. Daily without Eclipse if I teach it will take more time. Definitely I'll start Eclipse. Because compulsory Eclipse only year onwards. Actually year onwards Eclipse you have to start. These rules also not done. If you want again, those who know, no need to write. Those who don't know, write it. Those who forgot, no write it. In Core Java I explained is all. If you want, you can write, otherwise better. Declaration rules to a source file. It is welcome program core Java time only explained. So here for every class, every interface I given, not only every class, every interface, enumeration also dot class generated. Even record, Java 14 feature, record. For record also dot class generated. You studied up to Java 20, I covered. Sealed classes, record classes, this all. Because what they are going to ask in interview, you cannot predict. Everything you have to learn. Record classes, pattern matching for instance of pattern matching for record patterns. This all everything. Every point, everything you have to learn. Core Java most important that too, as compared to advanced Java. Java 8 features also important. Java 14 onwards also 6-7 features are there. All switch expressions, record patterns, pattern matching for instance of pattern matching for switch, record patterns. These also they are going to ask. What they are going to ask you cannot predict. That's what everything you have to learn. Core Java most important as compared to advanced Java. A class that contains main method only can be used to execute the program. So compiler generates dot class file for every class, every interface, every inner class, every inner interface, everything. Separate dot class. Is it over? Now, how to write servlet program? That is I'll teach. First steps. Say, first servlet program, welcome program, writing program, deploying, execution, Explanation, 3 days it will take. 3 days. It is from here onward totally different. Now real-time Java starts. So welcome program, explanation, it will take 3 days. The first 3 days most important. Next program in a 5 minutes we can complete. Okay, but explanation purpose it will take 3 days. Okay, writing program style and a deployment process, execution process, everything, explanation, very depth explanation, 3 days it will take. 3 days. After 3 days, second program just in a 5 minutes we can complete in Eclipse. Okay, first one program without Eclipse I'll teach. Second program onwards with Eclipse only I'll teach, because without Eclipse means it takes more time. With Eclipse very quickly possible. So first program most important, you have to listen with more concentration. Okay, it is complete different from here onwards. Whatever you studied up to JDBC different, from here onward different. Next, write it. Steps to develop web application. Steps to develop web application. First step, create a web application folder structure. I'll explain, write it. First step, create a web application folder structure. Second step, create and compile web application source code. Nothing but Solid program. Third one, write deployment descriptor. Web.xml file. It is XML also required here. Fourth step, create a WAR file. Web archive or web archive. Steps to develop web application. Now this is a procedure you have to follow. First, create a web application folder structure. Second step, create and compile web application source code. Nothing but Solid program. Write deployment descriptor. Nothing but web.xml file. Fourth step, create a WAR file, web archive. See, complete different, no? Writing program is different, complete different. After writing also, we have to set the class path. We have to start the server. We have to deploy. After deploying, we have to open browser. From browser, we have to send the request. Then server will receive, construct the response. It will send the response to back to a browser. That type program. Okay, that's what. For explanation, minimum 3 days required. Okay. Now, here, welcome program also same procedure. Project also same procedure. Welcome program to project, same procedure. That's what first program important I'm saying. Now, web application folder structure. First step, I'll give folder structure. If you write your own style, it is not executed. Web container understandable format you have to write. Web application folder structure. Web application folder structure. Heading, web application folder structure. Write this one. Now, first I'll explain. Listen, I'll give time for writing. Web application folder structure. See, first step, create a web application folder structure. This is I'll explain. But in Eclipse, what will happen? Right click, new dynamic web project. It is automatically created. Every structure also created. Eclipse very quickly can do. Okay. Web application folder structure. I'll explain. Now listen. First, what you have to do is you have to create one folder. That folder is called root folder. That folder is called root folder for your project. Folder name, whatever you want, you can write. Suppose I'm writing folder name only root folder. Whatever you want, you can write root folder. Folder name is root folder. Okay. Now, in this folder, what you have to do is one SRC folder you have to create. Source SRC folder you have to create. Say first root folder. That folder name, whatever you want, you can write. I given root folder only. Whatever you want, you can write. In that folder, SRC folder, it should be SRC only. You should not write SOURC also. Complete also SRC only or write. In this SRC, all .java files you have to place here. .java. See, your project contains many Java files also. At the time, all .java files should be here. After this, here, one more folder. That folder name must be web-inf in capital letters only. Okay? It should be web-inf. It is not underscore, hyphen. By mistake, if you write underscore also, program not executed. That is only specification, rules and guidelines. Okay? Web-inf in capital letters only. In this classes folder. It should be classes only. In this, it should be small letters only. These only rules and guidelines you must to follow. Otherwise, server cannot understand. Okay? Now, web-inf in the classes in small letters. Here. All .class files here. All .class files you have to place here. While writing program, suppose this program you want to connect to database. But database, if you want to connect, driver required. The driver is available in jar file. That jar file you have to attach. That's what one separate folder is there. Libraries, lib folder. In this folder, what are the jar files you are using? Those all you can place. .jar files. All .jar files here. And configuration file name must be web. Extension must be XML. You'll understand further. Web.xml. Okay? Your program may requires HTML files. .html files. Okay? Here only .css files. .javascript files. All you can write. Okay? Dash, etc. And also, your application may requires image files. Image files. .jpg, .bmp, all images. Your application may requires audio files, video files, all. Any extension. Audio files, video files, etc. Any file you have to write. Remaining all you have to place here. After this, you have to create a war file. Including web-inf. This is we have to create as a .war file. It is called web application. It is called web application. Welcome program also this structure required. Project also this structure required. So like this you have to create. Write this one. Web application folder structure. This is first step. Create a web application folder structure. It is first step. In a root folder, one src folder which contain .java files. In a root folder, one webinf folder. In that classes folder that contains .class files. In a root folder, webinf folder. In that lib folder that contains jar files. And web.xml in webinf only. Remaining all outside the webinf. That means directly root folder. Whatever you record, all programs you can place in outside the webinf. So this totally we create as a one file, WAR file, WAR, web archive. That is called web application. So it is like a zip file. All will make it one bundle, like a zip software, zip file. Is it over? Not over? It is first step. Remaining steps we'll see next class. Tomorrow they given holiday, so tomorrow no class. You will see continuation on Monday. Monday, this continuation will see. But 2 days gap is there. Don't forget this subset. If forget again, you cannot understand. Monday will see continuation. So next class on Monday.